Vi får lige Isabella og Freja med på min egen film. Husk at like alle mine film ude på min YouTube med mine 2 søde kaniner, Isabella og Freja. Helt op på 6.000 like, og jeg vil blive rigtig glad, hvis I gør det med det samme, når I får tid til det. Og jeg mener det med det samme, når I får tid til det. Og det er bare så I ved det. Isabella, hun er i gang med at æde foder, og Freja, hun æder faktisk også i gang.
This is no different. You really and your pressure here, so that we're not hurting our hands. Keep the pressure on the back turntable as you squeeze the back. You don't really want a turntable. So we're going to start here at the top. See the nice thin layer that creates, and just keep moving down. So next I'm going to use my smooth out my icing. This is a really great professional tool. This one happens to be made out of. You can find these at paint stores for putting on Bondo. There are what's called a bench knife that you can get at. So you can also get them at your restaurant supplies. So for this, again, moving our arms. I'm going to start at this side and turn around this way. Posture at this point, but you really want your elbows out. You want to keep your knee, a lot of movement around your cake like this. So I'm going to start here, light pressure on my table scraper.
Og det er bare så I ved det.
Only about maybe a quarter to a third around my cake with I'm turning the turntable. So this is really our first layer, and you can see with all of our layers of icing and borders. So we're going to get our measured to make sure that we've got the right height. So we're going to get her down. We're going to fill in a little bit with icing. You want to keep Barbie's hands over her head, a rubber band, so that we're not interfering with the rest of our cake. At that point, our quick icer again, and we're going to fill in here around her. I'm going to be high to begin the skirt. It'll look a little. You want to just even, not add too much more icing, because we've got a lot. Okay, I'm just going to come back around. Just you don't want to overwork, because keep in mind we're going to cover decoration. So it's designed beforehand. So this is what I'm thinking about doing. I want to do, you can see I've got some garlands planned for the bottom and some ruffle, a little lace over the top here, and a sweetheart bodice. The back also, so you have a good idea of what it's going to look like in advance. I like to have a good idea of what I'm going to do ahead of time. So to mark that design on the cake, so we have a good idea of where it's going to go. You can use your Wilton garland marking tools, or you want it so tight. So I want to mark straight down the front of my cake, so that I know exactly where my front is. Again,
nu får vi lige dem begge to med, både Isabella og Freja.
Where you want your skirt to fall. I think I'm going to move it in just a little from there. So I want my cake to have a nice flow open skirt. So they're nice and even. So right about 2 there, and right about 2. Then we want to move around to the back side of the cake, do it, and mark down from the back. Here we're going to decide and how many in between. Looks like we're going to have up here again to get a nice even top layer. For those of you who know of some light purple, I'm going to put my first layer of ruffles on. We're going to start here at her waist and make the first garland.
Og Freja, hun er ved at æde
I'm going to come down
et æble.
And make my second on the other side.
Og så får vi Isabella med. Og nu får vi både Isabella og Freja med, som begge to æder et æble. Og det er bare så I ved det, så nu ved I det.
So at this point, I want this area to be a little bit smooth. So I'm going to use a little, just kind of pull down and up, make like the petal of a flower.
Nu kan lige Isabella og Freja med igen tegnen.
So, like our petals that we've used for hibiscus, if you've seen any of those videos, we do a squeeze, we let it build, move down just a little, release. You don't want any thickness at our waist, so this is a squeeze, let it build at the edge, pull back, and release. Squeeze lightly, pull back, and release. See how thin we're getting up in here? Leaves decoration at her waist. So this is what I was going to do a ruffle, and as it turned out, it worked more into flower petals, which I really like better. It gets to what you're working with and what really looks nice at the time. So I'm actually working on the opposite side of the cake, so you can actually see the side while I'm working on it. So you can see we've got a little bit of gap here on your own side of the cake. It's way less awkward, much easier too. Is great for you beginning decorators because you can cover a lot of space. Advanced decorators or people who are doing a lot of work. You can see her at a time, but I still have a very pretty effect. So keep that in mind. It's great for. So at this point, I'm going to work in white on the front. Thank you. Garland is equal with this, so let's make some dots across. I want it to be right centered. So garlands on the side. I know right where they're going to be. Again, yourself. There we go. So you got a good idea. I want to create kind of a lace here in the front, and I'm going to use my number 24 tip for this. You want a nice full border. If you're spacing these even, using your one and technique. Here, that's where I want my garlands. So I'm going to come down just a bit. A ruffle is pretty even. The only part of this that is a little difficult is at so that you have a finer edge at the beginning and the end. I'll demonstrate.
Og Isabella med. Og Freja. Og Isabella. Og så Freja med.
Now we're going to need to cover the top edge of the ruffle. Also, it's a lot. Also, I need them to be thinner at the beginning and the end, thicker.
Isabella med.
Very light pressure. Lighter pressure.
Så den t-shirt som en top.
I'm going to do a double garland here in the front.
Og så får jeg.
It's going to give another layer of
Når du hjemme dag.
We're also going to cover any gaps that we have. So I want to add another. I don't want to come all the way up. I want to start maybe right in here.